What's up with the squad? Back with another video. Before we get in this video, make sure y'all email me or DM me on Instagram. Instagram, LifeWithRecklezz. Email, LifeWithRecklezz@yahoo.com. Definitely appreciate y'all tuning in. Let's go ahead and jump right into it, y'all. See what's going down. Original video will be in the description box down below.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. The Trump surge continues. You know, there's two ways that this 2024 election is gonna go. There's option A, where pretty much not much changes. The Democrats form a strategy and they simply just win. Or there's option B, where this Trump surge becomes so insurmountable that Donald Trump ends up winning in a landslide. I don't think there's too much in between. It's either or. It's either it's not gonna be enough and Donald Trump's gonna come up short. The establishment in their ways, they're just gonna, figure something out and end up retaining that power, or the exact opposite is going to happen. It's 2016 all over again. An unexpected, or I guess in this case, a more expected Trump surge will sweep the nation. Look, call it copium, call it whatever you want. I'm simply not going to live in a world, or I'm not going to live in a mental reality, accepting that we're going to see another 4 years of sleepy, creepy, piss pants Joe. Call it whatever you want to call it. I think it's happening. And it's moments like these, or I guess unscientific focus groups like these, as well as some scientific data, that continues to fuel my hope that Biden's time in office has come to an end. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so let's first start off with this Fox and Friends segment. Supposedly these are deep blue New York City voters, although it's really hard to tell political affiliation from just looking at people, unless they look, I don't know, something like this. So take it with a grain of salt, but just take a look.
Enthusiastic at all. 70% Biden, 62% say Donald Trump. Now that it is so loud, this is a good time for you to talk to the people.
Let's go talk to the people because we want to know what they think about this. All right. Hello. How are you? So, are you excited about this next election?
Oh, well, yes.
Are you thinking more Biden or Donald Trump? Because
Donald Trump, you don't even have to finish. I can tell you that real quick.
Why Donald Trump?
You can hear it in her voice.
Because I know that he loves
You can hear it in her voice.
our country, and I know that he is a godly man.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, sir, what about you? Who are you leaning toward in this next election?
Donald Trump, baby.
Why?
He's got a report card. He talks from the heart, and the people know his true self. He's not a phony. He's for the people.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
it.
Ma'am, what do you think about the prosecution of Donald Trump? Yesterday, during his press conference, he said that it's election interference.
I think it's completely election interference. As a lawyer, I'm petrified that I'm watching judges and prosecutors behave this way to individual Americans. And the other point about these polls, the 67% that's not enthusiastic is a whole bunch of Trump supporters who are lying to pollsters.
Wow.
Whereas Biden is totally, those are his numbers.
Thank you so much. Ma'am, what is going on with Joe Biden? It seems like there's a lack of enthusiasm with him, with his own party. Why is that?
Well, things keep coming out now that he's done, and doesn't sound very good for him. And I don't think anybody's very proud of him. Shaking hands with the air and not knowing his way off a stage and kind of putting us to shame in front of the rest of the world. So I don't think if I was had been his supporter, I'd be very pleased with what's going on. I think that's what's happening with the Democrats.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think I got time for one more. All right, ma'am, I'm going to come back here to you.
Two more in there.
So who's your candidate in this race?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. That's all I got.
Because
Donald
when
Trump.
he was president, I felt like
Trump.
my life was better.
Come on.
I felt safer. Our bank account was doing better than it is right now.
I'm gonna set him right here.
All these immigrants that are clogging up our schools and making the streets not safe.
Life was just better.
Life was just better.
Just that simple.
Yes.
Come on.
Thank you so much, ma'am. All right, Carl.
Supposedly these are NYC voters. If that's the sentiment in New York, then Joe Biden is in serious, and I mean serious trouble. I feel like we're seeing a serious sentiment shift. I feel like everything that's happened over the last, let's call it 6 to 8 months, has been quite significant. It's not just the Trump indictments. The Trump indictments, I think, are one factor, of course, and I think they've been a very strong factor for Donald Trump, at least in the early stages of the political fallout that surrounded these indictments. All of a sudden, we're seeing public support for Trump where we would have never seen it before. Actually, here's another example.
I like Trump. Yeah, they support him in the hood. Cause at first I don't.
Big shout out to my boy Theo. Y'all don't watch Theo Vaughn, y'all better go watch.
Example.
I like Trump. Yeah, they support him in the hood. Because at first, I don't think people was with him like they thought he was racist, saying little shit and, you know, against women. But once he started getting black people out of jail and giving people their free money, oh, baby, we love Trump. We need him back in office.
Not the greatest endorsement, considering this Hollywood individual is a, well, let's just say complete degenerate, but it's still a public political...
Regardless of however you put it, whoever's saying it, everybody knows it's real.
Support, and it shows kind of like a new element of people who are coming around. Is it the right element? No, but a vote's a vote. And really, we're seeing this kind of sentiment everywhere. Post-Trump indictment, we've seen a Trump surge. And then we've also seen a Joe Biden tank, as everything related to Hunter Biden, Burisma, and the web of Biden family LLCs comes to light. People are realizing that Joe Biden might be one of the most crooked, corrupt career politicians in Washington. A far cry from Joe Biden's public image of being a typical American dad, just kooky Uncle Joe. Nowadays, it seems like a lot of people's perception of Joe is one of two things. Either he's corrupt, cannot be trusted, and should probably be criminally charged, or people's outlook on the guy is that he's just kinda sad, you know? And that's not just voter perception, that's also mainstream media perception. It was so sad, former ESPN host recalls obvious signs of Joe Biden's cognitive decline during 2021 interview.
All over.
I would have preferred to keep it via satellite versus in person for Clinton as well. And then I said, oh, so you were a receiver? And he started to explain it. And here's the saddest thing. His voice just trailed off. He said, I was good. And then he went silent and he goes, oh, never mind. No, you're laughing. I thought it was so sad because I realized that's why he was in his basement during the whole election cycle. Right. Because even then, he couldn't finish his sentences. He struggled. So forget about politics. I don't care. I didn't vote for him. However, that made me sad to realize.
So you didn't vote for Biden either?
No.
It was so sad back in 2021, yet we still shilled for him and reported to the American people that he was the greatest thing and the best option for the United States. Now all of a sudden, as the polling numbers start to shift, the panic starts to set in, and mainstream media clowns who are shilling for Joe all of a sudden are telling the truth about his obvious and clear cognitive decline. The perception of Joe Biden has reached an all-time low. And we're not just seeing it on focus groups, we're not just seeing it from ESPN journalists, we're seeing it from the people in general. In fact, we're seeing it in the polling data. The most recent IBD/TIPP poll, which is a very reputable source, shows President Biden's approval rating has now fallen to the lowest level since he took office, at 36% approval and 54% disapproval, nearly 20 points in the red, with an even lower approval rating on the economy, meaning Joe Biden, right ahead of the election, based on some pollsters, is now polling lower in his approval than he...
Everybody know it's negative. Not gonna win.
He was post-Afghanistan withdrawal disaster. It really feels like we're slowly approaching the end. Public sentiment is awful. Track record, performance, awful. Key economic metrics and indicators, awful. Foreign policy, global stability, awful. Foreign relations, awful. Southern border, awful. Public safety, awful. I mean, everything, literally everything is in the gutter with this guy. And of course,
it's just like so many Dems though. Like, it's so many Dems that like don't even like realize to the fact of, you know how like when you was younger and you would pick teams and you would pick the person that's more popular, you wouldn't pick that person that actually got heart and actually got, you know, you want to pick that person. That's kind of how, you know, Dems are picking like these. That's like I really can't even say popular because it's not. I honestly think, just the simple fact he's not going to win, so many people are changing on the outlooks of different things, on what they see and what's going on. They're actually opening their eyes and seeing. So I doubt it that he'll actually win.
What does that mean? If Joe Biden's tanking into oblivion, it means only one thing. It means that Donald Trump must be surging. And even though the media is having a real hard time explaining it, or I guess accepting it, probably the way that I should present the concept.
Less time on his age, but they obviously have concerns about his character because his numbers, when you get outside the Republican primary, are very, very weak. And you hear Republicans saying, you know, anybody.
Even though the media is having a hard time accepting it, Trump's numbers are apparently really weak outside of the Republican primary. The simple fact is, that's not the case at all. Donald Trump is kind of entering demon mode as he continues to trounce, and I mean trounce, Joe Biden in a head-to-head matchup. The most recent ABC Washington Post poll had Donald Trump up by 10 points at 52-42. That poll was generally viewed as an outlier. I mean, it was showing a trend because Trump is leading in the aggregate and most polls are showing him win, but it was considered an outlier until it wasn't. We just had a poll released by Premise Data, which is generally, by the way, again, another left-wing polling source. This poll was released on 538.com, showing Donald Trump in a head-to-head matchup against Joe Biden winning by 10 points again. That is
exactly, and that right there is gonna sum it up for the day. Just think about that. You know, you thinking about this, you have so many Republicans, you have so many people that literally, okay, I'm gonna start off, I'm gonna just say Republicans that literally, that, you know, are already, you know, the on Trump's side. You know, you have, you know, all these Trump supporters, and then you had these Democrats, you had the Dems. So now listen, they, you know, are starting to realize what's real, you know, starting to realize what's real, and some are moving. You can't have that. So that right there should tell you that it's not like, I feel like talking about it is one thing, you know, but it would have to be the only reason of him winning. It would have to be something of being rigged, or, you know, a messed up count. It'd have to be something like that, because there's no way that I think is gonna be a dub. And my dad is a Democrat, and he says to me that he's gonna win again, and he gives out his points and saying this, saying that, and honestly, don't see it. But let me know your thoughts down below. Much love to everybody. Definitely appreciate y'all. Other videos y'all may check out, make sure y'all comment down below, or DM me on Instagram, LifeWithRecklezz, or email me, LifeWithRecklezz@yahoo.com. Much love. Gotta go watch some movies. Chris actually is, you know, she's been a little sick, so about to go take care you know, my baby and you know, our newborn, and you know, get it cracking, watch some movies or something. But definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. Much love to everybody. Thank y'all for everything. Catch y'all next one.